Hello there, sports fans, and here we are, Ron here, going to do a little quick video. Again, kudos to my friend Jeremy Adio for his thinking out of the box, if you will, and him and I, we kick around a lot of different topics and a lot of different stuff, and it's just good to know that that there's people out there that are like-minded. And he and I are more like-minded than is probably healthy, because we both like to get to the root of everything. We, again, if you've got a problem in your body, it's easy sometimes to treat the symptoms, but treating the symptoms doesn't necessarily cure you. You've got to get to the root of the problem and take care of that. In fact, that's what's happening with my infection in my foot. And by the way, I want to thank you all that have sent me well wishes and stuff as I deal with this horrible bacteria that I'm dealing with. It is somewhat better. And the nurse that came by today, she really kind of said what I had been thinking, that for whatever reason this is going to take time to heal. Anyway, on to bigger and better things, but I just want to get to the point here of getting to the root of things. That includes our lives and living as free people. We think about everything that Trump and other people are trying to do, even like Trey Gowdy. I read a quote supposedly from Trey Gowdy that, if we want things to change in America, we need to change who we're sending to Washington. Well, that's not necessarily true, because we've been sending different people to Washington, and yet nothing in our nation has changed, except for the worse, by the way. So, even having Trump in the White House now for quite some time, we're not free, people. We're not free. So what has changed? My life hasn't changed a bit just by having Trump in office. I'm not any freer today than I was when Obama was in office. But we really got down to discussing what is the purpose of these people, and I'm going to loosely use the term politician. Really, when we think about the original writing of our documents, these people were not called politicians, they were called representatives. And who they were supposed to represent was you and I. But the real question is exactly what and how, what was their mission in representing us? And I have to tell you, if you read our documents carefully, it can be boiled down to one thing, and one thing only. And that is to protect and defend our rights as they are listed in the Constitution. Now, we could get into the opposite side of this coin, because the Constitution didn't grant rights, it only guarantees them. But in the same breath, it also limits their power. And by doing one, it does the other. And I hope that makes sense to you. Okay? By describing our rights, it limits their authority. Okay? And that is their only purpose when we get down to the brass tacks of what they're supposed to be doing. It's to ensure that your and my rights are not violated. Ladies and gentlemen, it did not take long in this nation for those men to forget their job. Article 6 of the Constitution makes it very, very clear that it is the supreme law of the land. and that anything that anyone does, no matter what level of government they're at, that violates the Constitution, it's unlawful. And therefore, in fact, the 16th American Jurisprudence, second edition, or maybe I have that backwards. I have to look that back up again. And I'm going to have to paraphrase it because I don't have it memorized, but I do have it somewhere in my notes. But basically it says that anything that goes against the Constitution has no authority. Any law, any statute, any amendment, anything that violates the Constitution has absolutely no duty, no authority, and no jurisdiction. And that's paraphrasing that. So at the end of the day, the purpose of these elected officials, whom we call politicians, who are really supposed to be representatives, and what they're supposed to represent is freedom. And what they are infringing upon is liberty and freedom. We can use those terms interchangeably. They're synonymous. And they're not doing their job at every level of government. The 5 county commissioners here in Marion County, Florida. And this was my number one, and anybody that's watched my videos, my number one fight with them. And I always stuck to my guns and kept them in that corner, was the fact that they were infringing on Article 6 of the Constitution, which says that it's the supreme law of the land, and they're infringing on not just my right, but your rights too. The problem here in Marion County is I couldn't muster up enough people with balls to stand up and say, you know what, he's right, and we're going to do something about this. And now there's people out there screaming because now it's getting to the point where their property rights are being infringed on, which they already were just through property tax alone, but now they're starting to scream. And my question is where the hell were you when I was standing up for you? Because you weren't there. Bottom line is this, ladies and gentlemen, these people are out for themselves. They don't give a shit about you or I. They don't give a crap about freedom. All they care about is them. They're making millions of dollars while stealing from you and infringing on your rights, and they don't care. And until the American people stand up and do what is necessary, up to and including fighting for liberty, which is what our founders did, we will continue to remain in this mess. And for those of you who watch this and want to come after me, I don't care. I know exactly what I'm saying. And for those of you who watch this and don't believe in liberty, what the hell are you doing in this nation that was designed for us to live as free people? Then get out and get out of our way. I've had enough. Have a good day. Thanks.